The Spanish-American War was a conflict in 1898 between Spain and the United States, the result of American intervention in the Cuban War of Independence. A main person taking part in the Cuban War for Independence was Jose Marti. Jose Marti was a Cuban that led a revolt against Spain and destroyed American sugar plantations in order to get the U.S. involved in the conflict. He became a symbol for Cuba's independence against Spain in the 19th century. Back in America, newspaper publishers Hearst and Pulitzer ran two main newspapers that covered the story of the Cuban and Spanish conflict. In order to sell more copies of their newspaper, they relied on yellow journalism. Yellow journalism is a type of journalism that exaggerates stories in order to sell more newspapers. Another way that Hearst and Pulitzer used yellow journalism was when the USS Maine exploded. On February 18, 1898, the USS Maine sank in Havana Harbor after suffering a massive explosion. After the Maine was destroyed, newspaper publishers Hearst and Pulitzer decided that the Spanish were to blame and used yellow journalism techniques to shock the American population. On April 25th, Congress declared a state of war between the U.S. and Spain. The first battle between American and Spanish forces was at Manila Bay, where on May 1st, Commodore George Dewey, commanding a USS fleet, defeated a Spanish fleet in a matter of hours. Later that year, a land campaign began in Cuba, and on July 1st, Roosevelt and his group of cavalry, known as the Rough Riders, attacked Spaniards at the Battle of San Juan Hill. The result of the Spanish-American War was the 1898 Treaty of Paris, which gave America control over Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippine Islands. It also led to the collapse of the Spanish Empire.